him a shot to do what?
On today's episode, Donald Trump indicted for... No, I'm joking.
Oh, my God. For a second, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, no. Oh, no. It's been a ruse this entire time. I was sent a list in terms like, nope. Not
Guess
today.
what we're doing? Yeah, hell yeah. No, we're definitely not doing that. But we will talk some drama in the NFL with Stefon Diggs and the Buffalo Bills having some issues. We'll talk, obviously, the Denver Nuggets winning the first title in franchise history, which is awesome. And then the Vegas Golden Knights also winning the same thing, except more impressive because they did it in far less time than the Nuggets, considering the Nuggets have been around for like 50 years and the Knights have been around for like 2 years. And 6 years already for the Knights.
6 years, yeah. But man, yeah, we'll dive into it. I'll tell you who didn't have a good week. South Florida.
Yeah. Hey guys, fuck you guys. Sports. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Stuff About Sports. We are presented by the Give Us a Shot Network. I am the Facebook felon Germ. That is the prettier Corey Burt. And we are extremely happy that Florida sports had their moment taken away from them in all facets of the world, in NBA and in NHL. Very happy that basketball season is over. Now I can move on to football because football's right around the corner. Training camps have been starting. But all is not well in Buffalo, Bert, with my team. I was really excited about our off season and getting back to camp, finally shaking, awful playoff loss again, thanks to Coach Sean McDummy, who should be fired. So I thought we were going to go into the season feeling really good. We had a lot of distractions, obviously, DeMar Hamlin, but he's back practicing. He'll be ready, and but not so fast.
That was a distraction for like 2 weeks, right? Because that was towards the end of the season, and then that momentum carried into the playoffs. I will say, all things considered, disappointing exit from the playoffs given the expectations, and I think that's where you started to see a little bit of, I guess, what you're starting camps with this year, because I don't know. You have to remember. Stefon Diggs was not a happy camper after that loss.
I wouldn't be a happy camper too when you're supposed to be the number one option, number one weapon on that team, and you sputter out of the playoffs with a resounding 4 receptions for a grand total, Bert, of 35 yards with 0 touchdowns on a game high 10 targets. Not exactly how you want to go out. And I'm looking at Bills Mafia and some of the online presence on how they're talking about him. I'm like, you guys are pointing fingers at the wrong person. If I'm Diggs, I'm upset too. If we lose, but I get 15, 16, 17 targets, and I have 100 yards and maybe no touchdowns, maybe 1 touchdown, whatever. If I'm not producing in terms of, or we're not winning, but it's not because I'm not producing, we're doing our part. The number one option should be the number one option at all, win, lose, or draw. If you have somebody like Diggs, and this leads me to why I think Diggs, who missed the first day of mandatory camp, then it became a story because Sean McDermott opened his big stupid mouth, the bald clapper. All he's good at doing is clapping and ruining 13 seconds of football. Decided to tell the world that it was very concerned that he missed practice. And then all of a sudden, now you know what the media gets. Oh my God, what's happening? What's this? Later on in the day, Bert, Diggs' agent said, what the hell is Sean McDermott talking about? Diggs was literally just there this morning working out with the team in the weight room. You just met with him yesterday with general manager Brandon Beane. He was in the building. He's here. Maybe he's not at the practice, but y'all know why. I don't know why you're sitting there saying, oh, I'm concerned. I don't know why he's not here. No, motherfucker, you know why he ain't here. And I don't know why you said that. So then he comes out today, Bert. Diggs is out there now. He didn't do any team drills. He did wide receiver work. He worked with Josh Allen. He worked with Ken Dorsey, offensive coordinator. And then Sean McDummy gets back on the stage. I don't know why they keep putting a microphone in front of his face.
I don't know why he keeps talking into it. I mean,
Yeah.
at this point,
stupid boonie hat that he wears, and says, "Oh no, he was excused yesterday." All right, well, what the hell is that? Then what were you so concerned about? So I think there's a little bit of there's some secret stuff going on, and I don't know what's going on, Bert. What did you think of the Diggs story?
Yeah, so echoing kind of what you said, I honestly think it was just miscommunication for the coach. I think he commented on something that he didn't know about and then decided to, fire off the fact that he's disappointed without realizing that maybe someone else said, yes, you can be excused if he was meeting for other reasons. And then tried to backpedal the next day, plain and simple. This wouldn't be the first time this has happened to a coach, if that's the case, albeit covered up a little bit better, I would say. I mean, Joe Judge for the Giants last year, not this obviously most recent season because he wasn't there, but the season before, I think Daniel Jones was a concern for practice. I think he had just taken a bad hit, so they were gonna sit him, and he was literally on the sidelines commenting, reporters saying, "Yeah, that's why Daniel Jones isn't going to be at practice today." And behind him, Daniel Jones was throwing balls, and one of the reporters was like, "He's right over there," and he's like, "What?" Yeah. And so, look, it could have been that. It could be something. It could be something more. I don't know. Look, I'll never understand these coaching tactics to try to even if he was trying to get your guys riled up, being like, "Oh yeah, I'm disappointed," like that shouldn't have been it, like type stuff, and then have this dude's agent come out and say, "Hey, like you couldn't be more wrong." I just think it's a bad look for the organization as a whole, and you're not motivating it. You're just pissing people off for the sake of pissing people off.
I honestly think he had an issue with exactly what we talked about. I'm the number one option. I can't do another season, another playoff loss because this isn't last year wasn't the first time. Every playoff loss we've had, it's Diggs is not getting the ball. I don't know what's happening with our offense.
Yeah.
The Bills ran Josh Allen into the ground all season, and I get that they had an emotional time towards the tail end there with DeMar Hamlin's situation. Obviously, Von Miller tearing his ACL didn't help. Micah Hyde with his heart condition where he missed the whole season didn't help. All those guys are back now. Things should be fine. The only issue is, okay, at the end of the day, we still couldn't put up points. Hey, Ken Dorsey, new coach, get your best player the ball. Stop running Josh Allen all over the place. Josh Allen is responsible. They came out with a ridiculous stat. He's responsible for some 87% of this team's success. Touchdowns are literally Josh Allen making things happen. All of the advanced metric stuff I don't really understand, but I mean, that's a lot, man. And I've watched games where I'm like, why are we doing this with Josh? Hand the ball off, check down. I remember last year I screamed every week, Josh Allen, take the check down, bro. It's there for you all the time. He won't do it. I don't know if that's play calling. I don't know if that's Josh Allen, but somebody needs to talk to somebody. There's no way. If me and you sitting here on our couches, hundreds of miles away, can see the obvious, why is it not being fixed? And I think that was Stefon Diggs' issue. Hey, we've been doing it this way. It's not working. Get me the ball.
Yeah, I mean, and I honestly think if they involved him more, they had the right play calling. I mean, it came down in the playoffs to just being out coached, plain and simple. You don't have an offense like that and not use your best weapons. But the thing is, and particularly with NFL playoffs, because it's one and done. Why would you coach like that? And particularly when you're in a game where you're falling behind too, like why limit it even more? Why not try to utilize? So I mean, I think overall it was bad play calling. We know that. And it was just embarrassing. So no wonder he's frustrated. He went through something similar in Minnesota too before coming over, found his groove, felt that, obviously this is the team he wants to be with and that he believes in. But, I'll be honest with you. And I think you just said it, is like, if something has to change this year, because if not, I wouldn't be surprised if he requests a trade. If he's like, I got to go somewhere else. I can't keep doing this, because at the end of the day, and I don't blame him, like he's put in the work, he's put up the numbers. Now he needs a team that can get it done. So we'll see.
Yeah, the good news, I guess, or the silver lining in this whole situation is that the players overwhelmingly supportive of Stefon Diggs. Von Miller, hey, I'm Team Diggs. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here. Josh Allen, I right here, I fucking love this guy. He's my brother. He's going through what he's going through, and I got his back, and I support him 100%. So the players seem to know what's going on, and they seem to be siding with him, which to me is a good sign. You don't want, if there's going to be quote unquote a distraction, you don't want it to be in between the players. You want it, the player with the front office, whether it's a contract or schematic or whatever, culture. The important thing is the key players on that team are supporting that player. So I think it'll only help the Bills this season. So hopefully we'll see. Hopefully he's back at practice. Fans, the one thing I hate is the fans. What's going on? Without any information. It's none of your goddamn business. That's what it is. He doesn't owe y'all no explanation. People are upset because he posted some cryptic message on Instagram after, earlier today.
Yeah.
Y'all don't, these fans, you don't deserve any answers. Just shut up and watch the game. That's what you need to do.
I think that's fair. But they're also doing the same thing we are right now with speculating what happened.
Yeah, but they're also putting, well, get out of here, Diggs, if you don't like something, like that type of stuff.
So I don't. I think that's the dumbest thing in the world. Like and those type of comments, like you just said, like you don't know what's going on. Shut up. And if you think the team is better without him because of his poor attitude, like get out of here. Dude, Antonio Brown was on a Super Bowl winning Tampa Bay team.
Yeah.
You want to talk about piss poor attitudes with every single team that he's been with. And guess what? You want to know what they did? They put up with it because it one way or another, and I granted that team was stacked, it helped them win a championship regardless. So, listen, that's why you're at home commenting on your keyboard, or maybe you have a podcast, and in which case Give It a Shot Network can help you out. But, and you're doing it behind a microphone. But I mean, one way or another, if you think you know better, then why are you sitting there? Plain and simple.
I had a comment earlier that said he wants to be force-fed the ball like Cooper Kupp and Travis Kelce.
Why not?
Buddy, they're Super Bowl champions, so maybe he's kind of onto something. I mean, maybe we should be forcing him the ball a little bit. I'm down, I'm good with it.
I don't. Yeah, exactly. I don't understand. Like, that's a piss poor take as far as I'm concerned, because it's like, why wouldn't you want that? Like, what you want those players force fed the ball. They're the ones that are gonna get the Giants and Saquon. Use them. Yeah, use them. I mean, we hope the longevity is there, but to the same point, if it's someone you trust, get them the ball, get it done. Yeah, I'm with you. Like, okay, yeah. Your point, they have Super Bowls. Okay, so yeah, sure, force feed them and get the Super Bowl. I get it.
Bird, it's time for Germ's apology tour. I have to make an apology here.
Do you?
All season, I've been railing against advanced analytics, and I've Excel spreadsheet champions and MVPs. I've railed against the people that, defend boring basketball. So I have to make an apology, but I had to eat my words. Miami didn't get it done, and so I have to apologize. I have to apologize right now to one person and one person only, and that's myself. I'm apologizing to myself because I almost let the Nikola Jokic supporters change my mind. I'm talking to you, JT, from JT and the Don, who you can catch tomorrow night live here on the Give Us a Shot Network YouTube page, 8:00. They almost had me. Nikola Jokic is the most boring player in the NBA. The Denver Nuggets are the new San Antonio Spurs of the 2000s. Yes, I know they're great. I knew Tim Duncan was great. I knew that the Spurs were a great team, but they are absolutely boring to watch. Sorry, not sorry. They were the lowest rated nationally televised team in the NBA by a lot. And what you jackasses are going to throw at me are that this was the most watched finals in the last 5 years. I don't give a shit. There's nothing going on. People were watching to see if Miami could do it. They weren't watching for Jokic.
Yeah.
Sorry. And you know who else? And even if they were, you know where most of those viewers are? Serbia, because it's Jokic. It's their guy. You know who watches the NBA? Serbians do. They don't watch it any other time. We just talked about it with the World Baseball Classic. People were trying to put up the ratings of the World Baseball Classic.
Yep.
Well, no fucking shit, jackass. All of Japan, who has the most population in the world, were trying to watch Shohei Ohtani. And what happened? They won. So, I mean, of course the viewership is good. Yao Ming was the biggest thing in the NBA for China. and he was the number one player voted every year for the All-Star game because all the Chinese people were hopping on the NBA with their VPNs on the American version and voting for Yao. All good. Good for him. Good for the NBA. Good for the Nuggets. But don't sit there and try to tell me that Jokic is he's a great player. Cool. But don't throw advanced analytics and stats and numbers at me. They have in America when there was no championship ring on the line, nobody was watching the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
Point blank, period.
I mean, 100%, right? But at the end of the day, these are who we have in the finals. That's what got it done. And yes, was viewership probably heavily more skewed from a Miami sense? Yeah, why not? I mean, the underdog story is certainly of the season. But look, I don't watch enough basketball for me to comment if it's boring or not. I mean, I will say, wasn't he a finalist for MVP too?
No, yeah, and he probably should have won it. He's a great player.
Yeah.
This is not. I'm not talking about him as a player. I'm talking
The
about
whole team.
Aesthetically. Him, not just him, his team aesthetically are just not. They're just really good at fundamental. They're just a perfectly built. I will give them their credit there. The coach is an excellent. Mike Malone's a good coach. Stan Kroenke, the owner. I know we railed against him for moving the St. Louis Rams to LA.
Yeah.
But in the last couple of years, he has 4 titles, man.
He does. Within
the
last,
Rams.
I think within the last year. Yeah.
Right?
He's got
he has
4.
The Rams. He has the Colorado Avalanche from last year. And then he has the Nuggets now. And apparently his damn national lacrosse team won the championship this year. And then Arsenal was a finalist because he's a part owner of Arsenal. So he's having himself a year, man. So we were hyping up South Florida all the last couple months. We should have been hyping up Stan Kroenke, but nobody likes Stan Kroenke because they took away St. Louis's football team.
Yeah, I mean, look, man. I get it. Fundamentals. It's boring. It's not fun to watch. It's not exciting. But I bet you, if you're in Denver right now, I don't know, you don't care at all. Like, I 100%. Mean, fundamentals wins championships, plain and simple. So look, for an average viewer, even a non-viewer, was this fun to watch? No. I mean, particularly for me, I really did want the Heat to win. Yeah. But I didn't have a dog in the fight. This was me just being like, this is exciting to be a Heat fan right now. So I'm just going to root for the Heat. But you have to give credit where credit is due, man. I did watch game 5 in its entirety. And I thought for sure when Miami pulled away with the lead and thinking the second and third too, I was like, oh, they're going to finish this out. But no, I mean, kudos to Denver for coming back and sealing it and making sure they got it done.
Yeah. And the criticism I get is when I say that, I'm not saying that Jokic or the Denver Nuggets are not good. I know they're good. They're great. They're young too, which is another plus. They're probably going to be in the mix the next couple years. Like I said, boring. It's not aesthetically pleasing to watch. Joel Embiid won the MVP partly because when he matches up with Jokic, he serves Jokic up, but he does it in a stylistically pleasing manner to not only MVP voters, but to viewers, specifically casual viewers, right? Obviously, fans of the Nuggets are going to watch Jokic and champion Jokic and do all those things that they're supposed to do as fans
they should,
of the Denver, as they should of a fan of the Denver Nuggets. But this guy, again, I know I get laughed at. I got laughed at by JT. He was last picked in the All-Star draft for a reason. He sat out the entire fourth quarter of the All-Star game for a reason. It doesn't mesh well with other types of players. His style just isn't there. Again, he's great. What he does, he takes I wish Embiid would learn from him. Stop forcing, Embiid would have won that series against Boston if he would stop forcing perimeter offense and take his big ass underneath the basket and score all the points instead of forcing up ugly fadeaway jump shots. Jokic works on his perimeter, but he takes what the defense gives him. If he has to work inside all game, that's what he's going to get all his points. He makes his teammates better. That's why the Denver Nuggets are NBA champions today, and it's probably why they'll win another one before he's all said and done. And if Joel Embiid and Coach Nick Nurse doesn't change his programming, Joel Embiid may be one of those players that never wins one. Oof. And, whatever, man. Just the Sixers They're lucky they got Nick Nurse, and they're lucky that the Mets are doing worse than they are. Or else I'd be going a little bit harder on the Sixers. Bert, the New York Mets suck in every way, shape, form possible.
Not as bad as, say, Oakland, but
No,
I mean,
the Athletics are better than the Mets. Yes, I said it. I said it. I am so disgusted with this team, Bert. I am absolutely so we're in the Subway Series. I know we had a rain delay today. We're probably in the third inning by now, fourth inning somewhere.
I think fifth, but still nothing. Verlander is doing his thing. Certainly a duel today. Yeah, mid-5 right now.
I feel like we're in a perpetual wait and see mode with this team. Every year, the only problem with it is that it's happening in June, which is far earlier than it should. We took a victory lap in the offseason, Bert. I drank the Kool-Aid. Steve Cohen, he got me believing. Got me believing all year. And I honestly think the Athletics could beat the Mets in a 3-game series right now. Easily. Easily, I said.
Oof.
Buck Showalter, explain to me 9 losses in the last 10 games. Explain that. Explain blowing a 5-1 lead late in the game yesterday, which would have been June 13th if you're listening late to this podcast. Buck Showalter, tired of you folding your arms, looking stoic on your little pedestal in the dugout because you're too short to see over the fence. Steve Cohen, when is somebody in this organization going to take accountability, Bert? Let me know. Steve Cohen, I'm not going to make any big changes. Why the fuck not? Call up Mauricio. Do something. We suck at pitching. Verlander is wishy-washy at best, but we're locked into these contracts. We can't do nothing, Bert. We can't do nothing at this depth. Nobody wants those contracts. So we have to develop pitchers around these 2 old farts. Scherzer's awful right now. He's terrible.
I mean, he got lit up last night. I don't think anybody really expected it, knowing how competitive he is. But look, as a Yankee fan, thoroughly enjoyed it. I will say, I mean, today's battle a little bit better when you have Cole versus Verlander. But I mean, Scherzer yesterday actually he didn't have it, which sometimes your aces don't. I mean, in terms of something needing to happen and Stevie making moves, I think you're right, especially because and look, I've said this time and time again. I said this once Steve Cohen purchased the team. Like, the expectation is going to be there to win because you spend money. But we've also went over plenty of examples with my Yankees in particular when we spend the money and we don't do shit. And that's going to happen too. What's annoying, I think, from a Mets fan perspective is you should be learning from the Yankees and know that if you throw money at something, nothing's going to happen. You have to be bold and make those moves. And I think when Stevie first bought the team in 2020, he said, I have the quote here, I can make millions of people happy. I'm not trying to make money here. It's about building something for the fans. And so far he spent the money, but what are you building right now? And we talked about Met fans hitting the panic button. We've also talked about Met fans celebrating too early and think, hey, it's a long season. Let's wait it out. I think your frustration, like many, is building because at this point you're like, hey, we're coming into the heart of the season where, once July hits, you have July and August to really get a feel for, are we doing this thing? Are we making this push to October baseball? And I think now in June is the realistic time to be like, all right, what do we need to change to get us there? Because once you hit All-Star break from that point forward, it's foot on the gas and seeing what's going to happen. Now, it's interleague play right now. So should you judge? I mean, I know you've been judging based off all the other series too, but should you judge it just off, a series with the Yankees? Not necessarily, or particularly the Yankees in a division that still to this day does not have a team that's under 500. Every single one in the AL East is 500 or over. No, but I can certainly see where your frustration comes from, and especially for you because I know you love those Met sites out there, those Met boards out there, when you just have all of those fans, the emotional roller coaster that they go through. It's just unbearable.
Yeah, all you jackasses out there that are telling me that to go root for another team. No, fuck you. How about that? The fact that I can be objective about my teams and call it what it is, and willing to trade players makes me a better fan than you. Trust and believe. All right. I'm not this half glass full shit that you guys keep doing. You got to believe. No, you know what you got to do? We got to bench some of these guys. We got to call up some young blood. We have to change something. We can't change our pitchers. We have to change up the lineup. Hey, Vogelback, you were a cute story. Somehow you lost 90 pounds, and with that weight loss, your ability to play baseball went with it. Get your ass out of here. It was a cute story last year when you were pudgy, and now you're not. You're skinny and useless. Go away.
Skinny, useless. Jesus.
Bert, it's unbelievable. We are 4 games under 500.
Yeah.
4 right now. 10 and a half games back. Unless we do some magical Brave shit like what the Braves did last year and come back and make some noise, the season's over. Maybe I don't, because it's not that we are good for a stretch and then bad for a stretch. We occasionally win some games, but we have largely all season just been awful. And it's losing some of these games that we're losing to the teams that we're losing them to.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Lindor's not playing well. Yeah, like literally Nimmo, Alonso, Alvarez. I mean, there's only a handful of guys. Batty, I could probably keep in that group. Any of the young guys, I guess. I mean, that's about it. Everybody else can go. Lindor can go. McNeil can go. All of them can go.
I mean, look, you catch a streak and you're back in it, right? But I think what you just said, in the fact that, like, and I think I said this about my Yankees last year, and you can say it about a portion of this year too. Like, when you drop games to bad teams, that's what's going to haunt you in the end. And the Mets have done that plenty in itself. Now, look, we love Subway Series because it's Subway Series. It's, the battle for New York City, so to speak. And we also love it because many members of this network are divided, including The Divide. Catch them Friday nights on Fox Sports The Gambler. But here we are. I feel like this is Groundhog's Day. If not every week, every other week, and certainly every year too, we go through this. But yeah. Oh wait, hey, keep talking that shit, because the Mets just went up 1-0.
Good. See, I'm glad I was able to fucking talk some sense.
I know last time we went off on both of our teams, they won on a streak after. So I mean, who knows? Maybe it'll happen this time. But hey, listen, baseball's back in New York. NHL and NBA have officially finished up their season. So now, along with camps, Germ and I focus on baseball. Not that we're not baseball fans, because we are, but now we can devote our attention 100% to baseball.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I haven't watched as many Mets games as I did early on last year. I think a lot of that had to do with my disappointment in the team, because early when the season started, I watched every game and I was like, wow, we're losing. And then NBA, obviously the Sixers were in the playoffs and Joel Embiid won MVP, so I was really focused on NBA. And then because the Mets have been just bad, I'm like, I don't want to watch baseball. But now, hockey was good to follow. I followed the playoffs, which was great. Basketball's over, and it's just been, with the Subway Series, like you said, I had a great time. I try to make it out there once a year for a Subway Series with you guys, and it's always a good environment. You saw the girl get stiff armed in the stands after the game yesterday.
No,
some Yankee girl, Met girl, was arguing with some Yankee dude, and he mushed her, and she fell down the stairs. It was funny to watch.
Jesus,
you don't get drunk and talk shit to people when you're at a stadium. Women, this is not a man versus woman thing, but these drunk dudes aren't going to be careful with you. And at the end of the day, men are men and women are women. And you were not like a MMA built woman. You were like a regular average size female. And this was a bigger Latin guy. You could have got hurt. Like, I don't know where her dude was at, if she was there, or her friends.
That's the thing. Yeah, I think you bring up a good point. Like, just don't. Like, I mean, man, woman, it doesn't matter. Like, you get those sports fans like this dude who just don't care, and then you're tumbling down the steps. It ain't worth it. I mean, I didn't see it, but man, that ain't right what that dude did. That's
now, to their credit, after it happened, a bunch of people ran to her aid. I don't know if they were her friends or her significant other. I don't know, but there was a lot of chirping and face and pushing and shoving before that even happened. And the only thing I thought about was like, where are her people at? Like, she can't be up there by herself. Like, not to say people can't go enjoy games by themselves, but she was going crazy. And obviously what happened.
It's just sports, man. Like, I'll never understand people that like jump to that. Like, don't get me, like, there are times, I guess, like, someone's going to get drunk and rowdy and in your face. But like, it ain't that serious. It's like, you don't even, like, I don't. I don't know. I think we've talked about this before. It's just it's not worth getting injured over by any means. Just let it fly, man. Just a game.
And the immortal words of the captain, Derek Jeter, it's just the Mets. I think about that. I think about that quote all the time, and it bothers me. It bothers me so much. But he's right. I can't.
He's like,
I mean,
they were just they're just the Mets. Like, I don't think anything of them.
unbelievable.
They're just the Mets. Yeah,
It's unbelievable.
classic.
All right, so from one loser to a winner, Vegas Golden Knights did that damn thing.
Yo, they didn't just do it. They came out last night. So look, Game 5 in Vegas last night. Now, Grant, I liked Panthers in this series. I did. I thought after Game 3 they were going to take 4 at home and even up the series going back in for Game 5. They did not. They came close, but no cigar. And then Game 5 last night, this was their chance to force a Game 6 and come out on fire. They did none of that. Credit to the Golden Knights, who on their home ice said, we're finishing this tonight, because before you knew it, middle of the second period, it is 4-1, and they are not just all over the ice, all over the Panthers, and all in the back of that net. Final score 9-3. I don't know if I have to look this up. I should have before the show. If there's been a higher scoring finals in the recent decades. I don't think there has, but could be mistaken. But man, just watching them play last night, they came out with the confidence knowing this trophy is being hoisted tonight. The Stanley Cup is ours. We're doing this thing.
You could feel it throughout the game too. Like after like goal, like you basically after goal 4, it was
goal 4, they knew it was
on and popping, because in hockey it's hard. You know, you're scoring 1 point at a time, and points generally are scarce in hockey. So much like soccer, you know, you get a 2 or 3 goal lead. I mean, it's pretty safe, man.
It's a tough hole to climb out of, particularly when you're down 3-1 in the series too, and you looked as dogged as the Panthers did too, man. They just looked tired. I mean, look, similar to the Heat, great run. Honestly, I know we say it doesn't matter if you're not winning the last game of the season and you're not, if you don't have that trophy, but not for nothing. What the Panthers did is something to be very, very proud of, in running through the East like that. But man, you had depth in Vegas. You did. Your boy Jack Eichel got one. I mean, Jonathan Quick sat on the bench the entire time. It's his 3rd Stanley Cup after winning it with the Kings. Same thing with Martinez too. I think they said it was like 9 years apart. He scored, a goal last night too, much like the game winner against my Rangers, unfortunately. And then Phil Kessel too with his 3rd. It's just, look, I don't hate the fact that Vegas won, but I was super impressed with their play last night. And, to go from your boring watching the Nuggets, the Vegas were very exciting to play. And look, we talked about this 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I think a month ago, when Vegas was, primed to be in the finals. It's like, well, actually, it was when both Seattle and Vegas were in the semis. And, I said, this expansion team method is working in the NHL. And 6 years since their inception into the league, they have a Stanley Cup is just incredible. I think the only other team to do it in similar time range was the Oilers back in the day.
Bill Foley, in Vegas's first season back in 2017, when asked what he expected from the Golden Knights, said playoffs in 3 years or within 3 years, and a Stanley Cup in 6th. And as you just said, this is their 6th year in existence. He either has Marty McFly's almanac, or he knows how to build a team. Good. I mean, good for him, man. They hired a new coach last year, and it's working out. So shout out to Bruce Cassidy, their coach. Shout out to my man Jack Eichel. I know spent a lot of time in Buffalo. I didn't catch who won the Smythe Award. Did we see who won that?
Oh, you know what? I didn't even check that. Let me just do a quick search.
Now, I know a lot of players were saying they don't care who wins it because they did it as a team. They'll shake, whoever won it hand. There was a bunch of deserving players. But
it was Jonathan Marchessault.
Okay.
Well deserved.
Gotcha. Yes, very, very well deserved. I think he led the team in goals this year too, if I'm not mistaken. But
I believe he did, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, shout out to the expansion teams. It's working in Vegas, is becoming the sports capital of the world. Las Vegas Aces, Raiders got to get their stuff together. Maybe moving on from Derek Carr will kickstart that. They'll get the Oakland Athletics here in a couple years, and so maybe by that time they'll have a full reset of their franchise, and maybe they'll be off to better and greener pastures. I think that covers all the major sports for Vegas, right? Other than they got football, they have baseball. They'll have baseball. They have women's basketball.
Yeah, I mean it's trending.
Hockey.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, so they'll have all the majors, all the professional teams. So Vegas seems to be the thing. So yeah, shout out to the Golden Knights. I love the expansion team. I love that they wore their gold jerseys to close out the season. They're beautiful gold jerseys.
I know.
It's so sexy, man. That thing is sexy.
Look, honestly, the Panthers, Florida, like we said, we don't care who wins, but I mean, the fact that Vegas is doing it, it's just great. It really is. I don't think there's one fan base that is super upset right now, aside from maybe the Panthers fan base. But I don't think anybody truly. I mean, they're still new enough. I don't think there's any like true rivalries. For
no,
Vegas
yeah,
right
they don't have a rivalry, and I think
they don't have history enough. Yeah,
yeah, they don't have a history. That's it's funny because they'll say, "Oh, the Vegas Golden Knights won their first Stanley Cup in franchise team history." I'm like, yeah, the long heralded 6-year history of the Vegas Knight. Yeah, it wasn't like they were like this isn't a Browns Ravens situation where the team like relocated and became something else. It was just they literally are just a brand new.
But I mean, look, there's so many. I mean, the Panthers don't have a cup in team history, so it's like the fact that they did it in 6 years, and the Panthers are, I mean, what 30, almost 30 something years now. Yeah, it's wild when they say that, and the fact that it's only been 6 years. But I don't know. It's just something in sports. This is the stuff you like to see. Like, let's give expansion teams, the teams that relocate to, let's give them all a chance and reinvent themselves.
Looks like their first captain, Stone, first captain in franchise history, and also the captain of the club to win the first 10. Yeah, I mean, stuff like that is cool, man. To have that, you know, as your legacy, especially in this expansion team. Most of those players were original Golden Knight players. Like, just to be part of that. It's like, you know, a brand new high school gets set up in town and you become the first graduating class. Like it's like that, you know what I mean? It's like that type of that
better,
kind of
because
parallel.
You get some hardware that is unbelievable. Those rings are going to look good too, though.
Oh my God,
is going to do it real nice. Yeah.
Oh, it's their first one. It's an expansion team. Do NHL? Yeah, that thing's going to be nice. Stanley Cup is the best trophy of all the championship. I feel like we've talked about that before, but
easily, yeah, it's the best trophy in all sports. Yeah.
Is that because it looks the best, or is it because of the tradition where they carry it around and they do stuff with it?
I think both, right? Like I think in the fact that it just started out as a cup originally, and then they started adding the layers to it. And you get your name is on, like, this is the only trophy in sports where your name is on that. It's etched forever in history. It's on there. Now, granted, it's only a certain size. So when you get to a point where they have to remove a ring, so to speak, and like that stays in the Hockey Hall of Fame. But I mean, the fact that you could be carrying a cup around, it has previous year's winners all the way back to, you know, insert year here. I just think it's so cool. It really is.
Yeah, that tradition. I wish they would do something. If other sports had that, it would bring up the prestige. Like the Lombardi Trophy, I guess it's cool. NBA title, they renamed all the titles. I can't remember. It's always just going to be the NBA title. I think it's the Michael Jordan,
the Larry O'Brien Trophy.
Oh, Larry O'Brien Trophy. Damn, Bert, look at you, man. Larry O'Brien Trophy. Yeah, they and then what's baseballs is the world. Did they have a fancy name for the World Series trophy?
Oh man,
I
thought they did.
But Vegas doesn't have an NBA team. So that's the one hurdle they have to.
It's called the Commissioner's Trophy.
Yeah, we don't want anything associated with man fraud. We don't want anything. So we're gonna have to come up with a name for that.
You know what's wild for me about like the Vince Lombardi Trophy though is like they just make those replicas and those teams keep them, which I think I like rightfully so. But like when you're talking about the fact that like you'll get a ring for hockey, but the actual cup, like after the team's good with it and the next season starts, that goes back to Toronto.
Yeah, I think that's
the
cool.
Next one,
And what did they send them? They send them like a replica so they can keep it in their headquarters or something, right? I remember. They
I
get like a
don't know.
smaller. They
They
get like
might
a
get
smaller.
something. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if
so they
it's like a
can.
true replica, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's
I don't think it's two size. I think they get the rings, and I think
yeah.
they get like a
We get,
small.
the normal stuff, the rings, the
Yeah,
banners. Yeah.
yeah, and I do think the organization gets like a smaller one so they could like put it in a trophy case at the at headquarters or whatever the
And they
fuck.
should.
I'm assuming because I know that the Lombardi, that's what they do for
Yeah.
the teams. They'll make them, but that's when Travis Kelsey, when he spiked the Lombardi, everybody got all fucking mad. And he's like, it wasn't the real one, it was the replica. Like, fuck off.
It's like I can
So
buy fucking 8 of these right now with my
I could
wallet.
definitely.
Yeah.
Bert, you got a game ball you want to give out?
Yeah, I do. So, I mean, look, we talked about football camps, and one thing I want to mention is the XFL. We've talked about it before. Huge fans of the XFL. We think that it's never going to be absolutely huge, but it's going to be great, not just because it's The Rock and it's going to make money,
Mm,
but, and we've spoken about this before, is because I think the overarching goal is to get it's like a developmental league for the NFL.
yeah.
So earlier in the week, the Rocket tweeted out that I think it was like a Forbes story that they did on the XFL and that they're moving in the right direction. But one of the most things he's proud about that there's 75 to 100 XFL players that are competing in the NFL camps this summer, fall.
Oh yeah.
So my game ball goes to The Rock for recognizing that it's not just about business. It's true. It's a developmental, and
Mhm.
those players that are in that league are now going to go compete for jobs in the NFL. And some of them are going to make it. Others are not, and will be back in the XFL. And guess what? He's going to do that year in and year out until, hopefully the league stays a success, but until it's through.
I'm going to give my game ball to 14-year NBA veteran Ish Smith, former Sixer. Played in the league 14 years, Bert. He has been on 14 NBA teams. He's just a
Wow.
true journeyman, and he is now a first-time NBA champion. So finally, the dream has been realized by him. Not a star player, just one of those guys that you just need on the team. Good,
Yeah,
he's
like
a
a
good player.
journeyman
He's
type player,
yeah,
Yeah.
like guy fill out the roster, a contributor. Maybe not a star or he's a role player, but he fit a need, and guys like that will always have a job. Maybe not the most
Damn,
recognizable name.
14 years, a different team every year.
No, well, it's crazy. So I think the longest he stayed with a team is like 3 years, but then like he's
Okay.
part of these like trades where he's on the team
Yeah.
and then they like, well, you never really played for the team, or he gets traded, like he'll sign with the team and then they trade him at the trade deadline. So only
Gotcha.
like he's just always on the move. Like he's just a player that people want, but it's a player that you can give
Expendable.
away. He's
Yeah.
expendable.
Mhm.
So which I don't know, depending on how you feel about that. I'm sure he's good with it because he keeps getting checks. But
I mean, I was gonna say you keep getting checks and now you got a ring to your name, so why not?
yeah, he finally is an NBA champion for the first time, and so I'm very happy for him. So like I said, he's a former Sixer. He was one of my favorite Sixers during our tanking years,
Mhm.
and so just wanted to give him some
During our tanking.
recognition. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, man. So everybody, head on over to www.giveusashot.network and check out stuff about sports and all of our other podcasts: JT and the Don, The Divide Live, Goat Talk with Marcus, High Spot Podcast, and all the rest. And follow us at Stuff About Sports on Instagram. We're trying to keep this thing moving and do good. And then me and Bert will talk to you next week sometime. And
Yeah.
I'll be in Jersey in like 2 weeks, so we'll be in the
Ooh,
studio real soon, Bert. Real soon.
I can't wait. Yeah, next week, obviously more baseball. Maybe some too early predictions for football to check in and see how
Mhm.
camps are going. And who knows? Maybe some weird sports thrown in there like ESPN the Ocho or something.
Me and Bert bet on chess of slap boxing. Next.